Hey guys, and welcome back to the AGFA Esports LOL show match best of 3 series between MPA and Truth Blue. I am still your play-by-play caster, Belly Baz Runholm, and now finally joining us back is Cameron Scooterholm Sharnock. And Cameron, you sure missed a lot out of that series.
By the sounds of it sure was an explosive match.
That's definitely one way to put it, as we did see MPA getting a crushing victory against Truth Blue in the first match here, with them only dying a few times. I think it was only like 4 or 5 times in the whole match, and those deaths were pretty much deliberate. They weren't even on purpose. We did see, oh no, they were on purpose, sorry. MPA going on something like a 20-something plus kill lead, getting Baron, getting all the dragons as well in the match. Absolutely ridiculous. And we can see here in the ban phase, Truth Blue definitely respecting MPA, by banning out those strong picks, banning out the Cho'Gath, Shen, and Lulu coming out of MPA. MPA banning out the J4, Na, and Zillion. Janna first pick going over to her MPA instead of that Lulu and Cameron. We were just talking about before that Janna was an amazing support pick, and now MPA, especially David Bowie's Janna, is going to be absolutely mental.
See, the key thing, and because I was now, I'm not sure, but I can guess that an uncensored rush happened for David Bowie's Lulu, but an ardent sensor rush on Janna is why Janna is one of the most sort of revered champions you can play on career. So much so that they'll actually give Janna solo first turret gold just so they can get uncensored faster, because it is the most broken item in the game. And just going actually through the picks, it looks like MPA are picking up that Tristana rather early to avoid it getting banned out, like it was at the start of the the first game.
And we know now as well, Cameron, that Tristana is such a strong pick at the moment in the meta, just because of that siege potential and because a lot of the counterplay she brings against like the likes of Kalista, who is now also a very strong marksman at the moment. We are going to see Rek'Sai being picked up by Exalted Lucinia as well. Rek'Sai's still a pretty decent jungler at the moment. There's definitely a lot better picks like the Zac, like the Maokai, like the Sejuani at the moment. Still an overall decent pick though, Rek'Sai. Still a very strong jungler at the moment. Ryze being picked up as well. Could be played in mid or top. We'll have to wait and see. And we're going to see Noblesse channel his inner Willaris here and pick up that Orianna. Probably the strongest mid laner at the moment, just because of how much potential she brings to team fights and how much flex she brings.
It's like no doubt that she's strong, but I reckon calling her the strongest mid lane, especially at the moment, might not be the most apt because of those nerfs she received. I mean, it's more up in the air. Like it's arguable, but definitely top 3 mid laners at the moment.
We're going to see the Gragas and Elise jungle bans coming out here as well from Truth Blue. Looks like they're junglers they don't want to come up against. Draven being banned by MPA, as well as the Lucian, definitely target ban, prioritized against Carlo. That is the champion that he did play in the bot lane, and he did do relatively okay on it, so it's not as if it's a ban that was wasted. So
particularly, if they really wanted to play Lucian again, they would have priority picked it. But now because Lucian got banned, they're just going to pick up the Vayne because that's free. And at the moment, Vayne has seriously come back from being not even on play like Ezreal tier.
Very, very strong champion at the moment, being able to take out a lot of his tanks. The tank meta has sort of had a bit of a resurgence. And then, perfect example there, Zac being picked up by Aaron for the jungler. Very strong jungler, even after the nerfs he received just recently in some of the recent patches. Still really strong in these team fights.
I mean, the main nerf to tanky junglers like, well, the Zac, the Gragas, stuff like that, is the nerfs that they did to Cinderhulk, which it just means that tank junglers have a much harder time doing, especially early game clears. But all in all, you don't really, like, it just means they won't be able to gank as much, but considering Zac has arguably the best ganks out of any jungler, because he can, most junglers have a specific, like, gank path where they have to go through a lane. Zac doesn't care, he'll just go over the top.
And we can see now the final pick is going to be Wukong coming out of Truth Blue here. Galio getting picked up by Broken Exile in the mid lane. Very strong team fight. Team coming out of MPA and Siege potential out of Tristana, and Rise as well going to be able to get a lot of these teleport ults in and really displace the members of Truth Blue. Wukong being picked up by Cinderhog, wouldn't be surprised if that ends up being full lethality Wukong. That is a thing at the moment and could really throw off the members of MPA with a lot of cheese.
But considering what lethality is more targeted as it was a replacement for Armor Pen, Zach's just going to be building full health, and Galio's probably going to get a mix, so it might be effective against him, but they don't have a
It'll
tank.
definitely be effective against like Janna, Tristana, and Rise though. And you got to remember Galio is more focused.
It will do more damage, but it's lethality is way more effective against an actual sort of like a tanky champion that builds armor, because that's what it shreds straight through.
Well, we'll have to wait and see what the members of MPA do go for. They definitely have quite a few options available, like you said. Zach being able to build full health, probably go for something like a Warlogs, and Spirit Visage would definitely help as well. Galio probably going to focus more Abyssal Mask, that sort of thing, to get damage down and be tanky. So probably look. I'd say he'd probably go for a Ninja Tabby, and I reckon Aaron and Broken Exile will go for that Thornmail against the Vayne at least.
Yeah, that's the only thing with building health against the Vayne is you're just giving them more damage against you. Like, I have no doubt that it's going to be, you know, jungle item and then rushing and sitting on the Bramble Vest just to try and stop that Vayne. And then probably, yeah, I'd imagine an early Thornmail, but there's other items you can probably get early on, like maybe Randuins or more like Frozen Heart or something like that. Even though that might not be the best item on Zach, considering that he doesn't actually get the mana regen. But the cooldown reduction on Frozen Heart and definitely the armor will help against him. But then again, if you've got the full lethality Wukong top lane, he's kind of stuck both ways between a lethality Wukong, which is definitely a possibility to counter building armor, but whereas building health on Zach, the Vayne's just going to crush you.
Galio could always go for that Iceborne Gauntlet as well, now that we think about it. I mean, goes off his passive, very strong item as well with a lot of these strong meta champs like Sejuani at the moment and Galio, like we were just saying. And Rise could also go for that Frozen Heart, because he'll be going for that straight mana build. Frozen Heart's definitely part of that build and it has always been a part of Rise's build, so he'll have some defense off of that as well. But do you think they're going to more prioritize, if it ends up being lethality Wukong, do you think they're going to prioritize Vayne? Defense against Vayne or defense against Wukong? I'm going to put my chips down on Vayne.
I mean, it really depends. If you can crush Wukong early game, he's also one of the ones that snowball, but if you're going to try and crush Vayne, you need to stay on it. You need to not let it get the gold to get her items, because you could be 0 on 100 on Vayne. If it gets the late game long enough, you can go through and just start shredding people, so it's not as easy to actually pin down and stop a Vayne. They're going to have to chain CC, which they do actually have in their kit with Galio, Zach, Rise, Janna, and even the knockback from Tristana for a disengage.
We are going to just get out of that spectator delay finally though of the 3-minute wait. We're going to load into the game now. Second match in the best of 3 series, MPA taking on Truth Blue here. Cameron, who do you think is going to win the second match here? MPA had a really, really strong showing here, but getting that first win quite easily in the first round. Do you think they can easily make a 2-0 here, or do you think Truth Blue have a very high chance of coming back?
See, both team comps are ones that the later on the game goes, the better they get. I mean, I reckon Zach mid to sort of the start of late game is going to be really good, but he's probably going to fall off. Same with Wukong and stuff like that. But ones like Vayne and especially Tristana, Janna, Rise, Galio, as the game goes on, they're just going to get better and better. And just because Tristana, how she gets her range per level, which means with bot lane, depending on how Janna sort of plays that around the Vayne and Alistair sort of poke, they're going to have a tough early game, but if they can get through that to the mid game, that's when Tristana's just going to start outranging them.
Like to point out as well that Vayne is going to be able to do a lot of this burst damage really quickly, but Tristana also has the range advantage, Cameron. So that will definitely probably play a part. Maybe not so much in the early game, but the mid to late game we'll definitely start seeing that come into effect.
More interesting is now the Obelisk has a health bar.
Yeah, very strange. I just noticed that myself. The guys, I'm assuming, about to load in any second now. There they go. At least MPA are, and there is Truth Blue is going to load over on the other side as well. Finally, we're going to get into the game. Second game of the series now, MPA versus Truth Blue here in the best of 3 series. Now, in the previous game, Cameron, you did miss this, but MPA managed to get a somewhat successful invade into the jungle, managed to get some vision in, but Truth Blue actually stepped up that now that I remember it. They managed to get quite a nice ward on top of the buff and stuff that a lot of these guys were going for, and really threw off the members and had a lot of early advantage. Hill being used there by Kylo. Not sure that was on purpose, but Wukong definitely not expecting this. Getting caught out, exhaust going down, mines going down, first blood going over to the Zac there. They probably realistically should have given that over to the Tristana, but first blood is first blood. Nice early goal there, going over to their jungler. Maybe they want to go for some super early ganks. Definitely see that happening. He's going to go straight away and get that other... I think he got the Hunter's Talisman there. I can't remember if he had the... Yeah, you got the Talisman there. So, very nice first blood there going over to MPA. And that was just what I was talking about earlier. Just the synergy between MPA is just on point at the moment in the series.
A lot of wards also being used, especially in the bot, in the river. So currently Tristana, Alistair, and Orianna don't have wards, which early game they do take a while to recharge. But I highly doubt that there's going to be any real ganks coming in, especially this early. Mainly because the junglers actually need to start getting their items and the levels to be able to pull that off successfully.
We are going to see Zac starting off with red as well. Very normal start coming out of most of Zacs you see in jungle. Some of them like to do blue. You see Korak, the absolute legend. Mukau, I think it's Mukau skin, isn't it? That's what it's called, Alistair.
Mukau Alistair.
Nice taunt there. Really showing off his flair.
You just don't play Mukau Alistair if you're not prepared to just keep spamming the cowbell.
Nice Arcade Baron emote there as well that he's got. As well. But at the moment, from that first one, we're only going to see Wukong get that dash hit in, but Broken Exile is going to get a nice taunt down to stop any more engage from the Wukong. And once again, Lucinia heading up to the top lane, going to try and gank Broken Exile once again. They tried this strat in the first match with the Kayn, and it didn't go so well. So let's see if they can go for it this time. Definitely have a better comp for it. Gallo getting the W down, going to absorb a lot of this damage, but we do have the Wukong dashing in, getting a nice EQ combo down. Going to be enough burst to take out the Galileo on the top lane there. Cinder getting himself a kill, and that gank definitely a hell of a lot better than what it was in the previous match. But now,
I probably would add some comments here, but without seeing how the match went, it's kind of hard.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult to do that. But no, that was definitely a hell of a lot better than what they did in the last match. They tried that quite a few times with the Kayn, but Broken Exile was playing Shen, so he's able to easily disengage a lot of those ganks. And a lot of those times, actually, he was more towards under tower, so there wasn't too much they could do. But you can definitely see that Truth Blue want to have their priorities up in the top lane. So maybe MPA might want to focus their attention on the bot lane instead and get them really far ahead. Is Galio really? All you need him for is his ult in team fights and maybe his W, and he's pretty much done. But we are going to see a pause coming out here from MPA. Aaron getting a lot of lag coming through. So, so Cameron, just while we're on the pause here, let's take a look at some of these comps a little bit more. I would like to talk about the bot lane a bit, because we actually didn't talk a bit at all about the Alistair in Truth Blue's lineup. And what do you think he's going to bring here to the comp alongside Orianna's Shockwave, Rek'Sai's knock-up ability, and even Wukong's as well?
I mean, coming from actual experience, Alistair is very, very good as both a defensive more of a defensive ability. But not only that, he can be quite the offensive support, because all you have to do is, they'll be chasing you. You just activate E when they're close enough, and you start getting your trample stacks up from just hitting them. And then, if you've got your full trample stacks, your next basic attack does bonus damage and stuns. That, just the actual start of that stun can start a chain CC just by himself, because he stuns, he uses his Q, he knocks up, he can do a flash W combo to whack you straight into their team. It's really, really difficult to play around, so if he's got follow-up, he can definitely set up kills by himself, even if his team's not actually at the moment where they're setting up. But even that, someone wants to try and go in and burst down Vayne, he'll just W them away. Tristana just rocket jumps in, just Q or W again. I reckon early game he'll just, I'm aiming for either just standing there as more of a warden, or he's actually going to actively keep Alice Cooper and David Bowie just sort of out of where the CS is and out of range, just to make that lane much safer, so Kylo can get his farm up, he can get his items going. And then especially late game, if he just walks straight into the middle of them, getting how tanky he is, especially if he activates his ult, which gives him damage reduction, gets the trample up, gets his stacks up almost immediately, plus all the heals, because minions dying around him add stacks, and on the 7th one he actually heals allies around him. And then all he has to do is just be a CC farm, combo that in with the Orianna Shockwave, which will be a guaranteed, a guaranteed stun, and just pulled into a center. You've got Rek'Sai to follow up with a knock-up, you've got Wukong also to follow up with a knock-up and just deal damage. All of this time, they're staying off of Vayne, who also has her own CC and a kit with a W. So if they can get picks off, they've got, I'd assume, a much better team fighting comp, even despite the power of Janna with just the shields, and even the disengage, or even the more difficult aggressive engage with her ultimate, compared to Galio, who, he does have quite a bit of CC. His ult provides a lot of pressure, and then the Zac E ult combo. But I'd say that Truth Blue have the much better sort of comp when it comes to that, though, for fighting.
I was going to say as well, we are back into the game now. The pause has finished. Looks like Aaron from MPA has fixed his lag issues, so coming straight back into the game here. We did see then as well a bit of poke happening in the mid lane coming out of Noblesse against Rise. We'll call him, I reckon. We have Galio coming in there, getting a nice taunt down on the wrong Wukong though. He's going to clone away there, but we did see Rek'Sai before hanging around bot side. He is now actually gonna hang around in the blue side red jungle. Maybe go for some counter jungling, or maybe see if he can catch out the Zac. He's gonna pick up the Krugs there. I'd like to compare, while we're waiting though, for some of these fights, Rise and Orianna's ult. Orianna definitely has that awesome team fight engage shockwave ability that just can really change the tide of a battle. But Rise can just teleport in his members of MPA into these fights, or even away for disengage. So
it's not it's a good ultimate, but you can't
before
really
we
use
jump
it.
into that though, looks like Aaron is setting up for that gank in the mid lane. Orianna's gonna have to be careful. Looks like they're gonna disengage here. So back to what we're talking about, Cameron.
For that, Rise's ult is really only
and
good
actually, before we say that again, sorry, Rek'Sai is going to get this gank down into the bot, and Tristana's going to W away, gets the shield down, flash going forward from the Rek'Sai, nice knock-up going in, Vayne getting his W stacks down, Tristana going to have to flash away to try and escape, but they're going for this tower dive. It definitely paid off in the end, because they're going to get this kill against Tristana, but Vayne taking a lot of hits from minions. They're lucky she was able to heal quite quickly off of the minions. I believe she managed to get a few hits there, and those cookies as well, getting that instant health and mana back. Janna not being able to do much. A nice gank coming out here from Truth Blue. And Cameron, maybe Truth Blue can take a back hit in this match. We do have Alistair getting that nice headbutt pulverized combo coming in, but even in the top lane we do have a battle going in between the Galio and the Wukong, but maybe Truth Blue, I was going to say, had a bit of a We're trying to see what's happening here. We do have the Wukong going down. Galileo Flash gonna have to go forward, but Wukong getting caught on the tower. It's going to be a kill each going over to Cinderhog and Broken Exile there. Yeah, as I was saying, maybe Truth Blue in the last match, Cameron, maybe just had a bit of a slow start, but now they've definitely come online. They're more ready and focused, and maybe they might be able to take this match from under MPA.
That's definitely a possibility. They seem to be having a much better early game than the sounds of it from last game, especially because they're ahead in kills and ahead by about 600, 700 gold, which is only 7 minutes in, but if they manage to keep this lead going, they'd be in a good spot.
I have to say as well, they've got that tempo advantage as well.
You could say that.
Because now they do have that kill lead, they've got some nice ganks going forward. Their confidence would definitely be a lot better than what it was coming out from the last match.
See, even though Rek'Sai may not be one of the top 3 junglers, being like Maokai, you said, Zach, really, it's not really, oh, who's in meta, who's good now. It just comes down to how comfortable you are with the champion. So, you know, if you played a lot of Rek'Sai, it may actually work a lot better into a team comp than actually picking something just because it's meta. Especially Rise, since he actually fell out quite a while ago. Like, you just don't generally see him that often anymore. Whereas Orianna has just been...
playing every game, pretty much.
It's not a case of not seeing her, it's not ever, like, being in a game that she's not in.
Yeah. But at the moment, these lanes, they're not going to go for too much. Zach looking, heading towards bot side. Not sure what he's trying to do here, but he is standing. I think they do realize that he's there. Ward did go down, but the control ward did block him off. I do actually have a ward standing over Dragon Pit, so yeah, they would have seen him. And Rek'Sai is towards bot side. Is only getting blocked at the moment, but definitely in the area. Zach now going towards... Again, coming towards the bottom side here, going to use the bottom position to his advantage. There is absolutely no vision here coming out of Truth Blue, so they have no idea that Zach's here at the moment. They have a bit of an idea. They have a bit of an idea that they are around the area. Do have Wukong and Galileo having more skirmishes up on the top lane here, but if Zach can get a good E going, it's going to definitely be different. You have the Flash Monsoon coming in from the down to displaces members of Truth Blue. Zach jumping into the fight. We do have Vayne using her ult though, trying to use her stealth to the advantage. They're going to pick off the Tristana there. First kill in this fight, heading over to Truth Blue. Double kill heading over to the Vayne now. Exhaust landing on top of the Zach here. He's going to have to flash away. Truth Blue really outplaying the members of MPA here. MPA did set up what would have been a really strong gank, but weren't expecting that Rek'Sai, who was just in the back in the corner there, which I just mentioned before. Good follow-up, good advantage there, using the advantage of Vayne's ability to go invisible when she ults. But getting a nice double kill, and all that gold heading over to the Vayne as well. She's definitely going to be a scary member, and we're only 10 minutes into the game.
Even that, all members of that team fight in bot lane burned their ults, but it was more worth it for Truth Blue because they actually got something out of it. Because now Vayne's 3-0. But even while that was happening...
They got Cloud Drake as well.
But despite that, because Rek'Sai and Zach were both bot lane, they could have actually turned the tide of the fight that was top lane. I mean, no one died, but Galio by himself actually did manage to get Wukong down to critical health. And even that, he's actually, like, I think Galio's starting to learn how he's going to take him out, because he's using his taunt as soon as Wukong goes invisible, which means that it's all well and good that you're going invisible, but you can't do anything. You can't go anywhere, and so landing the CC and actually getting that damage down.
I think the Flash Monsoon out of David Bowie, though, it was both a good thing and a bad thing. It was definitely a good initiate, but they really needed that ult for a disengage when that fight continued and to get the healing up. And if they had that, I think MPA probably would have survived that fight.
I mean, I did actually say earlier where Janna's ult, it's mainly used defensively, but it can be used offensively, but that's kind of a grey area only in certain conditions.
And that really wasn't a good example of that either.
No, because most of the time it just does not pay off because you're Janna, you're super squishy, and if you're going to flash ult like that, you've pretty much practically got enemies all around you, but you're most likely cut off from between you and like your ADC or another member, you've got enemies.
You have Alistair and Vayne not waiting in the bush. MPA had no idea. Headbutt Porus coming in. Do have the Vayne ult coming in as well. Nice engage coming out of Truth Blue here. Janna getting caught out, and there's that Monsoon being used as a disengage. Not going to be enough. Vayne flies forward. Nice tumble and ease the Janna into the wall, but luckily Tristana was able to disengage that fight with the use of her ult. Heal went down as well. David Bowie is going to survive this fight, but once again, Truth Blue gaining this advantage into the bot lane, and this is what we were seeing in the previous match. Truth Blue's bot lane were really the stars of Truth Blue in the last match. They really fell behind a bit in the mid and top lane, and you can see now Truth Blue definitely capitalizing on their strong point and focusing their attention and resources in this bot lane, definitely paying off.
Definitely learned their lessons from the last game by the sounds of it. And now, I don't know if the members of MPA were just getting complacent because it's like, oh, you know, we won, we can do this again. Because now that lead is getting larger for Truth Blue, and that's not going to make this match any easier.
I mean, you look at the gold difference as well. Even in all the lanes, Truth Blue is ahead, minus jungling and support. So the main carry roles out of Vayne, out of Orianna, and out of the CS is going to be fully lethality. Wukong here, by the looks of it, they all have that massive gold advantage. Almost 1,000 gold between the two. But Rise getting a nice stun combo down top of the Orianna, but not going to be enough. And at the moment, this mid lane, very, like, stagnant, I'd like to say, because they're mainly just farming. They've tried to have a go at each other, but nothing really happens. They're able to tank a lot of their hits, and really, I think mid lane might end up being a deciding factor in the later fights, mainly because of the team fighting ults that they have, and the fact that they haven't really shown much of what they can do in this game at the moment. Shockwave going in there from the Orianna, they're completely missing. Well, she probably did try to catch him out, but a QW combo going in. Nice basic attack going. Looks like I jumped ahead of myself a little bit there. Orianna getting the first kill of the mid lane for herself there. For Truth Blue, she already had the CS advantage and the item advantage because of that. Now Rice is going to be a little bit further behind, and MPA are definitely going to have to try and play on the defensive now, maybe turtle a little bit.
I mean, with that, I just imagine that Rise was confident that he could actually get the shield proc on his Q, which would have saved him, but just... I think he might have just got overconfident, which is what I was talking about earlier. And if they don't actually sort of smart up and start playing much like smarter and devoting resources where they should, they're pretty much just gonna throw this game away. But when it comes to late game, if this keeps going like that, their only hope is just going to be the split pushing pressure of the Tristana. So if the other members of MPA can sort of hold and peel and keep members of Truth Blue actually occupied while Tristana just pushes with the heavy sieging power that she has in the late game, that's probably going to be their only sort of shot of victory, unless they do get their smart picks off and they start leveling that gold lead and even actually getting ahead. But with 4 kills difference and, you know, just quite noticeable gaps in CS between the two.
I'd like to point out here as well that Zach is waiting here in the bot lane. Looks like MPA do want another gang down here. You have to be careful because by the looks of things, Kolrak and Carlo do know what's going on, but just off camera there, Orianna picking himself another kill here against the Rise in the mid lane. They definitely know that something's up because they just pinged him out there. They know something's wrong.
Yeah, the fight in mid lane was actually not... I don't know what's happening with Rise, but he's
We do see now Alistair getting a nice headbutt pulverize combo coming, and they're trying to get this advantage, but Vayne's getting this extra damage down on top of the Tristana. It's exactly the problems we're talking about that this Vayne is going to bring to the table. Nice first kill going on to. She's going to go for the Rampage. Zach ult going down, but she brought the Alistair behind them. Not really the right target, and not probably what they wanted to go for. Janna is going to have to flash away. Zach does get the shutdown gold, taken out the Vayne, but they're going to lose the Janna in the process to the Orianna. The Zach is probably going to go down here to the Orianna to Alistair any second. He's going to have to burn flash. Actually, maybe by listening, he's just going to escape, but Alistair getting that nice headbutt pulverize coming down here. Really, all we need was Orianna to get that QW combo. Going to go through. Another kill heading over to the Orianna. Off camera as well, Rek'Sai picking up the Rift held by himself as well. And really, things are looking bad for MPA at the moment. Definitely getting a taste of their own medicine from the last match.
They are just falling down the curve like the banana splits at this rate. So, just going through what they gained. So, Orianna got the kill in mid lane, roamed down bot lane and got the kill on Zach. Vayne got the kill on Tristana. Uh, two got the. I think no. Oriana also got the kill on the.
Yeah,
Janana.
Oriana got the kill on the Zac and the Janna, and Vayne got the kill on the Trist.
Rek'Sai got Rift Herald off screen, and on the other hand, for MPA, Zac got the shutdown on Vayne.
Yeah. So it was good to get that shutdown gold, but in the end, really it wasn't worth it. They lost a major objective, as well as a ton of gold as well.
That's just pushing that gold lead. So now it's starting to creep up to a 4k gold lead at 17 minutes. That's...
I'd like to point out as well, look at the amount of vision coming out of Truth Blue at the moment. Because of this Rek'Sai having the Tracker's Knife instead of the Stalker's Blade, I believe that is, she's going to have all this extra vision coming out that she can lay down for the members of Truth Blue. Definitely a disadvantage for MPA, and maybe next game might be something that Aaron might want to look at.
I mean, from when I used to play Rek'Sai before she got a rework on her ult, Tracker's... Yeah, what was it? Tracker's Blade? Tracker's Knife, Tracker's Blade, something like that. Was an essential item. Like, you could get Warrior, but just...
It's an essential item for all junglers. Like, you should all... I think junglers really... Having that extra vision, grounding those extra 2 wards, can definitely be the life or death of some of these teams. And now we're going to have Tristana going in again. Rek'Sai getting a nice ult down, getting herself into the backline. Exhaust going down, Monsoon going down as well. She's going to have to get pushed away. But Zac almost getting taken out here. Vayne's going to get that dash forward. She's going to get the easy kill here. But Tristana trying to get the follow-up won't be enough. Mine's going to go down. That's not going to take care of her though. Just the Vayne just getting all this burst damage down thanks to the Infinity Edge as well, getting so much damage. Vayne being up a nice easy triple kill here. Vayne now 7-1, an absolute monster online at 20 minutes. And Cameron, I think it might be safe to say that MPA are going to have to go back to the drawing board after this match. Rift Herald is going to get put down as well to take out that bot lane tower.
Oh, massive damage coming out from the Rift Herald from that. Just absolutely demolishes the tower. But going on to MPA, you've really got to question the wisdom of trying to fight a Vayne in an enclosed space like the jungle. I mean, why would you do that? All she has to do is Q, like, up and around, and then just EU for an easy, just burst damage, because that's pretty much just an instant, free, auto-attack proc for the Silver Bolts, as well as a free stun for other members just to capitalize on. So now it's 3 kills to 10, and just I don't even know what's happening here.
So they're going to try and take care of this Cloud Drake as well. Aaron is waiting over the wall, but that vision, Vayne getting a nice, he's going to get the stun down, and MPA way too late for that second Cloud Drake going over. Oriana getting a nice QW combo. Janna getting that tornado down, but there's that shockwave we were talking about earlier. Janna's going to have to back away. We do have the flash forward coming out of Oriana. Nice Q. Another kill. That's going to be a 5th kill going over there. Tristana trying to W away. Zac's going to jump out of this as well, but Rek'Sai getting that ult down there. Hit that blast, going to disengage that fight.
That was very well played on the side of MPA for the escape, but very well played on the for
Truth Blue.
Truth Blue. Keep forgetting their names. Kind of embarrassing.
I mean, there is two Truth teams in our scene, so.
But I also haven't seen Rise like use his ult once, or even Galio. But then again, they haven't really had the opportunity to, because Galio's been preoccupied top lane. And he is probably, arguably, besides Zac, doing one of the best on their team, especially in terms of CS. Although, that being said, it seems as if MPA have just gone back to trying to farm to get ahead. Because at this point, what really can you do? But also, it seems my prediction was wrong about the Janna, because there's no rush for the Ardent Sensor.
We saw something similar come out of the last match where the Lulu Ardent Sensor wasn't built for quite a while, so definitely a very similar build from the Janna, from David Bell coming out for both champions here, but...
I mean, it's not always wise to treat what happens in Korea.
I'm going to see a pause coming here as well, as Sinholt just disconnected there. I don't know why I just stuttered for about 5 seconds. Might be having a stroke.
Maybe you disconnecting?
Maybe I might be. The pause is actually going to come through now. Yeah, just about, eh?
Just the Matrix getting unhooked?
I felt the cord rip out of my head then.
But I really don't know what to say about this game, because just whatever MPA has at this point, Truth Blue just has an answer for it.
We're going to see Zach getting that jump in. Barrier being used straight away. Nice ult coming in. Looks like they're going to try and pick off this Orianna. Very nice play coming out of MPA. Seeing where one of their main issues is there. Sorry, Rise getting the shutdown goal. Definitely what they needed. Might have been a little bit better for the Tristana, but Rise definitely could have used that bonus assist there. And now they're going to focus his attention on this mid tower here. MPA definitely picking out a very nice opportunity there to get themselves back into the game.
I mean, they got the tier 1, but depending on how they play this, they may sacrifice a tier 1 for
a tier 3 tower. Yeah, we're going to see this Rek'Sai being caught out as well. Exhaust being landed down. They're going to get this kill onto this Rek'Sai here. Double tunnel blast cone coming in. Maybe she might be able to just get out of that alive. No, Zach is actually going to catch him off there. Yeah, ult coming through. But Zach able to get that last hit there. But Vayne taking out that inhibitor, going for this inhibitor, really questioning what the Galio is doing. Maybe instead of skirmishing with the Wukong, should have teleported bot lane to stop this Vayne. And now she's going to ult in. Heal's going down. Vayne's getting an easy kill there. Zach is going to have to try and eat away from this. Janna getting caught out as well. Flash going forward. Another flash coming in further. Janna going to take this tower. It's push the Janna all the way to base plate.
I mean, the Janna really has no...
Galio is coming in. Nice flash QE combo going down. Nice shot down goal. The Vayne's going to be shut down finally. Gold going over to the Galio. So, not too bad of an idea seeing as the Tristana was dead at the time. But
speaking of questioning wisdom, why would you just run under multiple, like, the Nexus towers? That just doesn't seem like a smart play. I mean, yes, it's a quick way to get back to the shop and buy the items, but it's probably a better way she could have done that. Yeah. She probably could have just realized that the Janna was going to get away and go back to, you know, I
think that's really cockiness coming out there as well. That bit of a BM coming out, which, I mean, she was 8-1 at the time, now 8-2. Not really too surprising.
I mean, while they were doing that, two of MPA's members were focusing their attention solely on that. Tristana was down, so there was really not much map pressure at the moment coming out from MPA.
Out of that, the MPA did have a very good start. Picked up the Orianna, got that tier 1 tower. Really, they should have all just disengaged from there and gone back to base, but they misplayed quite heavily there. Didn't stop that inhib tower from going down. Tristana gets taken out by the Vayne. Had to burn a lot of resources to take out the Vayne in their own base. Luckily, they did get the shutdown gold against her because of her BM. But I'm still, like, I want to be impressed with MPA out of that play they did against Orianna in the tower, but after all the misplay after that, I'm not so sure anymore.
I mean, not only that, but this is a 4v5 that seems to be brewing at the moment with Galio just going in by himself.
Alistair ult going down to make sure he doesn't get the follow-up, but Galio is here trying to catch out. This Orianna is somewhat working at the moment. Flash being burnt out of the Alistair. He's going to get that pulverize up to knock him into the air. Q going down, and they're going to have to chase his members away. Vayne is in the bot lane at the moment. They're going to get this tower edge. Nice shockwave coming in from the Orianna. They're catching out all the members of MPA. Galio did go through there, but Rek'Sai was waiting in the wings to stop this fight from happening. Orianna does get that kill against the Janna here. They're going to have to keep pushing and get these kills. Rise getting kill against the Alistair here. Galio getting taken out by the Orianna. Double kill going over to her now. Vision coming in. Rek'Sai flash knock up coming out. Rise is going to have to try and deal with this by himself. We do have Wukong following up with that full... Oh no, it's not even going full with that. He's actually putting a bit of tankiness and bruises at the moment, but they're going to take out the Rise. Triple kill coming out from here now. Zach Q going forward to stop this from going forward. The barrier coming up, and Zach's going to get taken out as well. But out of all that, Vayne picks up the inhibitor in the bot lane. They take out the Rek'Sai and the Alistair, but almost all the members of MPA get taken out in that fight. And once again, MPA, seeing a nice pick, did manage to push themselves a bit forward, but got caught out quite easily by that shockwave.
I don't know if they're just desperate or greedy at this point, because the start of that fight was alright. It was a 4v5, so they definitely had the numbers advantage, but they didn't have any other advantage. And as soon as that shockwave came out, you had a whole bunch of people super low, and yet they insisted on fighting. They went back in multiple times by multiple
Tristana, they're going to catch out this Wukong. Source went forward, Flash being burned as well out of the Wukong. Nice kill going over Tristana, definitely going to help her at least somewhat try and get back into this match.
But it looks like they're actually heading for Infernal Drake now, and Janna trying to steal it. But
this is definitely gonna... Yeah, see, MPA could not contest that at all, and that's definitely gonna put even more damage onto NPA. They're already far behind as it is. That extra 8% AD and AP going over towards Truth Blue is definitely not what they wanted.
I mean, it's kind of their own fault. I mean, look, they've only just now, since they got Dragon, they've tried to put wards. Like, they've got 4 wards in the bot side, but go back 2 minutes, there was nothing. For the majority of the game, Truth Blue have just dominated the Vision game. So, like, this entire game is just down on MPA, just sloppy plays, bad decisions, not enough like proper target focusing, and just general cockiness, and they're actually suffering for it at the moment.
We do see Janna did finally pick up that Arden sensor as well, so hopefully that might help them out a little bit. I'm hoping that Zach picks up a Knight's Vow or even Galio for the Tristana though, because that's definitely what they need to keep Tristana in this fight at the moment. Do see Zach getting that jump in and trying to catch out this Vayne. Nice ult going through. Finally going to catch her out. Rise getting the kill. Definitely a good idea to put that extra gold onto the Rise. He's now 4-3-2, has some of the most CS in the game. No, sorry, on the team, not in the game, not even by far. But we do have Janna getting caught out herself there from Orianna, Rek'Sai, and Wukong. Nice gold going over, and I would not be surprised if truthfully want to try and set up for this Baron right now, Cameron.
I mean, at the moment, MPA don't really have an answer for it. I mean, MPA's support is down because who knows what they were doing there, but just...
Zach definitely recalling in the wrong spot at the wrong time here. Wukong ult going in, going to stop these guys from going out anywhere. Rise trying to disengage as quick as it can. Zach going forward. Nice mana shield coming in from the Rise, but the clone absorbs a lot of that damage. Orianna E going forward. Have to be careful. She's going to be able to hit a nice shockwave here if they're not too careful. Wukong's going to back away with Ghostblade. Flash going forward. We do have the Galio teleport in. Not sure what he was trying to do there, though. All he did get some sort of disengage ult going through. Zach's going to get taken out by the Wukong here, but we do have the Tristana is going to get into the fight as well. The Rek'Sai trying to ult in and keep this fight going wasn't the best idea herself either. Tristana getting a kill, going to help her get into the fight a little bit more. They're going to recall on top of a ward here. Luckily, truthfully, can't do much about it, but really a lot of sloppy and misplays coming out of both teams there, Cameron.
MPA's actually starting to turn this around, because a couple of minutes ago they only had 3 kills as a team, and now they're starting to get it up. But they're not actually, like, they're not playing any smarter. They're still making stupid decisions. But I think it's just Truth Blue just already assuming they've won this, so they're making even sloppier plays, and now they're starting to pay for it, because now people are starting to get kills, and Janna just going in randomly.
Like she is right now. Not sure what she was trying to do here. She's going to get taken out. Almost taken out. So crazy there. There's the Galio taunt coming in, but Vayne getting caught out by that Galio taunt. Tristana being able to get that follow-up. She's going to get taken down. Alistair is going to be the next follow-up. Zach getting the kill against the Alistair there. Really, Truth Blue did have a good idea to keep that pressure in the bot lane, but managed to get caught out by the members of MPA. Tristana... Luckily, the Tristana and Galio was there to help Janna save her life there, because she almost got taken out there herself.
I mean, they also took spend quite a few resources.
And we do see the Janna having to burn Flash there to stop getting hit by Orianna's QW combo. Definitely not worth out of MPA. Really, Janna should have backed away a hell of a lot earlier than what she did there.
I'm more or less perplexed as to what's going through these players' heads. I mean, for most of the game, Truth Blue have been making smart decisions. They've been making the smart plays. They've been just exactly where they all needed each other to be. And now it just seems like they're not communicating as much, and they're paying for it. So hopefully they can
think as well it might be because they were so far ahead, but remember, Galio and Rise weren't really a part of this team fights at all. They're probably trying to figure out how to get this advantage, because Galio does have such good team fighting potential. But Alistair is going to get caught out here. Exhaust does go down, does get stunned as well. A lot of damage coming out here, and Rise is going to get that kill against the Alistair. Nice goal going over to Rise there. Thanks.
Alistair hasn't actually built any magic resist items yet. The only people who have magic resist items is Wukong on his boots
and Hex
Shrinker.
But Galio is going to get a nice taunt there, catching the Orianna out, but there's not going to be any sort of follow-up. Really a bit of a good disengage. They probably didn't want to fight that anyway, because Orianna does have that shockwave up, and Vayne was also there as well.
I mean, you kind of think that they would prioritize a bit of magic resist on everyone, considering 4 members of MPA do magic damage. Which,
What I'm
I
really
mean,
confused
yes.
about as well is that, sure, Galio and Zag did go for that stone plate, very nice item to have, but there's no Bramble Vest, no Thornmail coming out, and this Vayne is just a monster at the moment, and they're not building any defense to stop her. And as you can see here, Vayne almost catching out the Janna. Zach is gonna jump in here, gets that hit together, was gonna try and push them together, but wasn't enough to get the stun, but Janna now gonna get caught out. Monsoon going down to keep that fight going, not gonna be enough to have Zach getting the ult down. The flash coming through from the Vayne to try and survive. Ult coming down to help secure this fight. Tristana getting a double kill here as well. Do have Wukong getting caught out. Shockwave coming in to try and disengage this fight. Wukong does get the Ghost Blade and not on shield to go forward, but it's not going to be enough. Zach jumping forward with Aaron, getting that nice kill against the Wukong with the assist of all his members, and MPA Cameron getting a nice turnaround team fight here, and they're going to go for the Baron.
It's kind of surprising how bad they, like, for lack of a better way to describe it, just how bad they were playing early game. But, oh, is Alistair going to steal?
Looks like he's thinking about it. It's going to flash QW combo down. Almost lose out there. Aaron did not have Smite available. Alistair is going to pay for his life here. But that was dangerously close for MPA.
I mean, as it's going, if MPA can keep their tempo going at the moment, they definitely have a good chance of winning now. I mean, they have the Baron. They can use it to push. Granted, they've only pushed, what, 2 towers in so far? Whereas that's...
No, they've... Oh, yeah, that's 2 towers, yep. The tier 1 towers in top lane and the mid lane.
However, top lane... Truth Blue have almost pushed in top lane tier 1. They've pushed in the tier 1 in mid lane. They've pushed in all the way up to the tier 3 and even took out the inhib at one point. So, I don't know what they're doing because they had a much stronger emphasis on trying to get those objectives. Especially in the early game when they got the Rift Herald, they have 3 dragons. They were getting those towers, pushing the waves. And now they just seem to just not care. I think they're just going for split pushing like solo kills. Which
They're going to get this tier 1 tower down here as well. Thanks to the Baron buff. Might have to be careful though because this team fight might be happening soon. So the members of MPA are going to disengage now and get out of that fight. I was sticking together though, and Truth Blue is hanging off on the side. Wouldn't be surprised to see an engage coming out here from one of these teams at any moment.
I mean, you just look at the fact that Vayne's only just gotten 1 kill.
And there we go. That's engage. Talking about Gallo getting that engage down. Taunt going through onto Cinderhold. Gallo ult landing down thanks to Broken Exile. We do have David Boy getting that Monsoon down, and also the I forgot what the item's called now, but that healing item does go down as well. But Orianna and Vayne picking off Tristana. Janna, not what MPA were looking for here in this engage. Double kill going over to the Vayne. The Right's going to get taken down. No Bless taken out. Broken Exile. And Kylo taking out Aaron as well. An ace going over to Truth Blue here. They're going to have an absolute strong push into the mid lane here. And I wouldn't be surprised if they try and end the game out of this.
I don't think they'll get the opportunity to finish the game because some of the carries, unless they can.
The item was Redemption, by the way, was the item I was talking about.
I don't know. They had a really good start to the fight for MPA, but again, they're trying to fight Vayne and Orianna in enclosed spaces, and even the Alistair, which doesn't leave a lot of space for them to avoid some of those skill shots like Vayne's E or Orianna's Shockwave, which is why I'm pretty sure all members of MPA, maybe even like 4, got hit with it. And now they've lost the Baron buff. I'm pretty sure they still had a tiny bit of time left on that, but that's all gone. But before that team fight, from all the split pushing, the sloppiness of especially the Vayne on Truth Blue, since what was it, 17 minutes, I'm pretty sure Vayne, who was 8-2, only was 9-5 at that point. And I mean, now she's come back because she picked up those 3 kills from that fight. But surprising, especially because still there is only a handful of magic resist items for Team MPA, considering they now have a 12-1 Oriana to deal with.
We do have Zach going for that Locket of Iron Solari there. It's definitely going to help out in those team fights. Galo looks like he's going for Randuin's Omen, which will stop some of the damage coming out of Vayne, but personally, I probably would have picked up the Thorn Rail instead. Definitely would have helped stop her healing, at least with the Grievous Wounds and damage back. Oriana getting that QW combo down to push away these members of MPA. They're going to get this second inhibitor now. Truth Blue, 2 inhibs down in the mid lane, in the bot lane. They're going to get this push going. We have Cinderhulk is over in the top lane, so looking to catch out this tower as well. Truth Blue are not going to have enough to go for this Nexus, but they might have enough to go for this inhib tower if they're not careful. Janna once again getting caught out. Flash going forward. Monsoon going down. Going down, but Kylo gets on that rampage, takes out Aaron. Once again, Redemption going down to heal up these members in the back line. But Broken Exile is going to get taken out by Galio, by the Kylo Vayne. Sorry, Double going forward. Oriana taking out Rise there as well. Vayne going for that triple kill once more, taking out that Alice Cooper's Tristana there. Going to get some damage down on the Nexus towers, and realistically, Truth Blue should have just won this match.
In that fight, though, the most interesting thing was, for lack of a better word, Janna was just being quite...
And we're going to see here as well, we did have Banner of Command coming out to get that push forward. Ace going over to the Oriana thanks to the Shockwave. And in the second match here, Truth Blue are going to get the win here against MPA. Cameron, we're going to Game 3.
I don't get, out of all that, the thing that doesn't make sense is how selfish Janna's use of her heals were at the start of that last fight. Because, sure, she got bursted down, but she was out of position, so the Vayne could capitalize on that. But in order to keep herself alive, she altered when no one else had really taken any damage, and used Redemption purely on herself, when that could have been saved and used, even if it meant she died. But she could have used it on the majority of team, and that might have been able to turn the team fight around, maybe. Or get the pick, or at least make them back off.
At least try and pick off some of the damage dealers to stop that push. I mean, I think out of that, they didn't even need to engage under the top lane inhibitor tower there. They could have easily, because they still had to take out that tier 2 top lane tower, so they weren't getting that inhibitor tower. They could have maybe had a few pushes, backed away a bit, maybe sacrificed the tier 2 tower, but had a push once they'd all backed a bit. Pushed forward, the members of Truth Blue probably would have backed off a little bit by then as well, and they probably could have survived a little bit longer, maybe even try to get that team fight or pick to push themselves ahead and go for that victory.
But just that match was... MPA dropped the ball from the very beginning. They didn't seem like they were communicating. They didn't have a vision control. They didn't have objective control. And they weren't putting their resources to proper use in the right spots. So because of that, Vayne got ahead. And just looking at the graphs, though, just right at the end, Oriana dealt most damage in game, unsurprisingly. That's what happens when you go like 13-1. 43,442 total damage to champions, with Vayne being second with 40,819 damage to champions. And then the third place was Rise with 23,827. The difference in damage was just phenomenal.
Yeah. I'd like to point out one thing before we go on to break and head into our final match though, Cameron. Truth Blue had a very, very strong showing in the early game here. Definitely a massive improvement over the last match, but in this third match, I still believe MPA have a very high chance of winning. If they can pick up this early game, they can definitely get the lead. As we saw with Truth Blue in the mid game, especially in the later half of the mid game and leading to the late game, they really didn't know what to do. You saw a lot of times there, MPA getting a lot of these team fight wins, getting a lot of these picks off on these members of Truth Blue, managed to pick up a few objectives, got the Baron, got Mountain Drake, pushed forward to some of these towers, whereas in Truth Blue, didn't really know how to end the game. They were just trying to look for a fight or try and force a fight. So, MPA, I still think they still have more of an understanding of the game enough to be able to come back from this quite easily and take the third win. But Truth Blue might have even more of an idea of how MPA playing out and might be able to take him out quite easily here.
I'm actually looking forward to the third match because it was Just you get the feeling I'm being quite harsh, but I'm
Yeah.
just going to say it was kind of an abysmal performance by
Especially,
MPA.
well, especially how convincingly they won the first match. It definitely was. The first match, the way they dumpstered Truth Blue throughout the whole match. It was kind of going back and forth for the start. Then they pulled the trigger, like I said earlier in the previous match. But when they pulled the trigger, they pulled that thing hard. It was like a nuke going off, basically, and they just completely mopped the floor with Truth Blue for the rest of that match. But here, clearly, it shows that MPA can't do that every game, and they do have a lot of their weaknesses. By looks of things, it could be their bot lane, because that's where a lot of the attention was shown for Truth Blue. They put a lot of resources there and got the win really out of this vein, and then Oriana on top of that from the outplays at the start of the game, and then from ganking and getting her up ahead as well in a lot of these team fights that MPA tried to enforce in the jungle, which we were talking about earlier, really wasn't that great of an idea for MPA.
I mean, overall, there was also the vision control, which was going into the later parts of the game. MPA did really step up, but for most of that game, they wouldn't have known what happened, like where the jungler was, especially at the start of the game, which means those ganks were super effective because they had absolutely no clue where Rek'Sai was. You know, one of them could have just been ambushed in the jungle, and everyone else probably would not have known about it because they had no wards there. It was only late game that they started to pick up, but just looking at the graphs as well for just the ward placement, it's clear how much, and it wasn't just on what the support, Rek'Sai, because they got the tracker's knife and everything like that, and not only that, the other members of the team all contributed and were able to just get absolute vision, so you couldn't sneeze on Summoner's Rift without them knowing. And it was just, coming out of the games I've seen of MPA, and especially what I've heard of the first one, I was excited to see them play for this. But that
was not a very strong showing out of MPA here in the second match.
No.
But we are now going to move on to our third match between MPA versus Truth Blue in this best of 3 show match here before our event on the 19th of August 2017. We will...
It does seem like MPA and Truth Blue will be taking a
short
slight
break. We will have that short
They'll
break.
be postponing the match.
So we will go to Game 3 in just a moment, guys. We'll be back in this best of 3 series. So if you're excited to see the climactic climax to this event, don't go anywhere.